651 1320 WILS. I want to get to an issue that really affects all of us. It's our heart, because a new study now says that coconut oil, which you keep hearing about as being good for you, it says that you need to stop consuming it. It's actually bad for you. Let's talk to a man that is a cardiovascular disease doctor, has been doing this for decades. Dr. Robert Edmonson is with us here on WILS. Dr. Edmonson, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard so many good things about coconut oil. Is it really something that we should avoid?
It really is. You hear about different plant-based oils as being beneficial for you. And I hate to say this, but even olive oil, which everybody at one time believed was very beneficial, it's not actually favorable for us either. Nothing in the form of an artificial oil or an oil like that is beneficial, especially coconut oil, because it is extremely high in saturated fat.
Right. Now,
and the saturated... Go ahead.
Well, what do you make of this movement? There's this low-carb movement, right? And their whole argument is that we flipped it around. They say the fats are not the problem. It's that we've been consuming all these sugars and carbs. That's when the fats become dangerous for us. What do you say to that whole viewpoint?
Well, I say that's kind of similar to the idea of coconut oil is good for you, or the different fat things that come along. People should eat a balanced plant-based nutrition. Now, I'm really a big believer in a vegan diet. And there's a book taught by a man named Furman, who wrote a book, Eat to Live. He wrote a book, The End of Dieting, and basically the principle is you don't diet, you eat the right foods. So if you understand the principles of plant-based nutrition, what that does for our cardiovascular system, what the typical foods we eat are damaging, then you change your lifestyle of eating habits, and you don't really worry about what's the carb count, how many fats do I have? You eat the proper foods.
But weren't we eating? I mean, we've been eating meats for millions of years as humans, right? Why would it be a problem for us now?
Well, it's always been a problem for us. Our bodies haven't changed in that regard, and the meat eating has been really something that's been more recent. We have the vision of the caveman killing animals. They were principally more plant-based. But basically, the fact is that the animal products, the saturated fats, damage the wall of our blood vessels. That's called the endothelium. I don't want to get too technical, but everybody should know this. Mm-hmm. Our blood vessels are lined by single-layer cells called endothelial cells. They're very sensitive. Some foods, particularly plant-based, augment their function. Other foods damage it. And like you eat your steaks, whether it's you have your steak or like your arteries, one or the other, because it damages endothelium. Okay. Makes it easy for cholesterol to penetrate and set up plaque, and cuts down the production of nitric oxide, which dilates our blood vessels.
You think it's the animal products, not the sugars, not all the white bread, not all the carbs? That's not the issue?
I think that's not a single issue. The animal products are certainly an issue. The white bread is an issue. That's processed. Anything that's processed like that is likely to be bad for us. So the white bread is not nearly as good as whole wheat bread. It has processed aspects to it. So it's not a single thing. It's comprehensive. It's basically the proper nutrition for a healthy life.
Okay, but I mean, even if you go back to the 1800s, before there was this cardiac epidemic, weren't we eating a lot of healthy fats and animal products back then?
Well, actually, a lady gave me a book written just at the turn of the century, and then that they talked about atherosclerosis, and they actually do a great deal about it, and they showed where these animal products were doing much the same thing. And they talked about it then, and the atherosclerotic disease, they talked about this being the number one killer. They talked about stress of our society back then, which stress our society is a big issue.
Right.
But there's multiple factors involved with our atherosclerotic issue. It's not just the foods, but the foods, the animal products are dangerous for us.
Okay,
but our lifestyle is...
Let me point out, Dr. Edmonson, coconut oil is, of course, not an animal product. What do you make of that even a plant-based product like coconut oil is bad for our heart?
Well, all the oils like that, extracted oils, are bad for our hearts, and because they're just a bolus of saturated fat. And again, the Mediterranean diet is one they advocated olive oil. So the reason the Mediterranean olive was healthy was not the olive oil. The olive oil actually in studies have been shown to be damaging.
Okay.
And that's so it's just oils are not good for us.
So, and you don't eat any oils at all yourself?
But basically, no, I don't. You know,
that doesn't sound very tasty to eat that way.
Well, it depends upon what you learn about the proper kind of foods. If you Google vegan diet, or Google like Eat to Live, or Engine 2, or Forks Over Knives, you'll find there are a lot of excellent foods, excellent recipes are put together, delicious foods. And if you change that when you eat, within 2 weeks you feel like a different person. So and that's what for most people encourages people to make the changes, because they really see how much they feel better. And if you get educated as to what these other foods are doing for you, and the proper foods are doing for you, or to you and for you, then you make the changes and enjoy it. So you're a vegan, you don't eat any animal products at all, right? I'd say I'm 80%.
80%, okay. So you're talking about salads without dressing, essentially, right? No oils of any kind. That's
that's right. But you know, if you put balsamic vinegar on green leafy vegetables, again, I'm getting a little technical, but the bacteria in the teeth get to that. It goes to the stomach, and it creates arginine, which creates nitric oxide and improves our endothelial health. So you could use balsamic vinegar. And it's very, very healthy. And you're sure if you research it and go into these books that have a lot of information about vegan diet, you can find that they do salad dressings, which are actually very delicious. They have ways of using plant-based foods to make it, and you really can't tell the difference. Whole Foods has a vegan cheese, and it tastes like cheese. So it just takes some effort to do it.
Now, if you do consume oils or animal products, if you exercise, can that counteract some of these problems, or?
You know, no, it doesn't really counteract it. All these are factors that it have to do with our cardiovascular health. You know, there are a number of them. Stress is a big factor. Exercise is a big factor, and each one of those you do reduces your risk, but it doesn't negate the other risk. So, and the problem is cumulative. You know, we have maybe 5 different risk factors: stress, lack of exercise, improper eating, high blood pressure, diabetes. You control all of these, and you improve the disease.
Right. So, just a minute, but I'm trying to get at it. So, are you saying this because I'm sure you've seen the movement, right? This movement that fat is not bad, right? You've heard about this whole philosophy, right?
Well, the pendulum swings back and forth. Just wait a little while. It'll swing away from that, and then it'll swing back to it. It depends on who's lobbying in Washington the best, I think. But no, but the principles don't change.
Dr. Robert Edmonson, you've heard it from a man who is a cardiovascular disease doctor himself, Dr. Robert Edmonson. You can find him at VASQX.com. Dr. Edmonson, thank you very much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
This is 1320 WILS.